Well, greetings everyone, and welcome once again to another Wednesday right here at the Sports Crib. You can see all our information down there at the bottom. You can subscribe and donate right here, and the address is JEK3. Uh, so I see everybody is well. No, let's see. I see Dave is here. Dave, how you doing this evening?
Well, I just got some sad news. Mike Wagner passed away.
Oh,
Four-time ring winner with the Steelers, safety. He was just 76, which I don't consider too old. But I just saw the news that they put it out on Steelers made an announcement saying,
Rest in peace, man. That's
yeah, we are deeply saddened by the passing of Mike Wagner, a tremendous player and an integral part of some of the most successful teams in Pittsburgh Steelers history. Mike played a key role on our championship teams of the 1970s as a member of four Super Bowl winning teams. His toughness and consistency were paramount to our secondary. His contributions on the field were significant, but it was also his steady presence and team first mentality that truly defined him. On behalf of the entire Pittsburgh Steelers organization, we extend our heartfelt condolences to Mike's family. He will always be remembered as a champion, a great teammate, and a proud member of the Steelers family. Art Rooney II. So yeah, I just literally just in the last few minutes heard that, and he worked in banking after his career, and actually, what one of my a friend of Sue's worked with him, and he would come to games all the time. I met him several times in the parking lot. This is in the days before they were paying players to go to tailgates. He would just like be parking his car and walking through the parking lot heading for the stadium, and he would just stop and talk to people that were out tailgating. And very very nice guy, and I was just shocked to hear that. So sorry for starting the cast on a downer note, but wow.
man, it's crazy.
yeah, I was. I think that was something that you just mentioned, something that I hadn't known, and that was that they pay the players to go to tailgates now. I was, kind of back in the days when, uh, they just came or they were, but never knew that.
Well, what's happening
I didn't know
now
that either.
is people are they've monetized tailgating, and so these people they have hundreds of people. They'll charge up to $70, $80. You get like a little band, and you get all the beer and food you can eat. But then they'll invite players. So and then they pay them. So these are like private enterprises.
Okay, so there must be individual fans is what I was thinking. Yeah, individual people.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, I got you.
Now one former Steeler, and I'm trying to think of who it is. He has a tailgate, and then the proceeds from his tailgate go to charity.
Nice.
And then my favorite tailgate, the Renegade tailgate, Lenny and Cindy, they just do a raffle, and they raffle off, like I won a Rocky Blyer mini helmet signed, but they use that to pay for their food and drink, and then they give their any additional money to charity. But some of them are like the one guy is driving a Tesla. So,
Wow.
some of these guys are making some money.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, hey, any way to monetize, as
Fuck.
we'll see.
The American way, man. The American way.
Well, hey guys, we're going to touch on something that we haven't touched on in a while: baseball. Reggie, what are you thinking this year?
Was there no Sue's Corner? Have we skipped Sue's Corner? Is there no Sue's Corner?
Oh,
There is.
oh,
Okay,
well, go ahead.
I feel like that takes precedent to my what I'm going to go with here.
All right.
It's not much, by the way, James. I'm going to think about what I'm going to say during Sue's Corner here.
Well, Sue's going to get into literature here. So One of the most famous fiction writers currently living is John Irving. Now 83, the great American author has been around nearly 5 decades since The World According to Garp gave rise to a career of global literacy influence, along with the likes of the Cider House Rules and A Prayer for Owen Meany. Irving still rises to write every day, 83, and he gets up every day to write. He is not retired because he cannot retire. If you're a writer, he says, what excuse do you have to stop? Irving's 16th novel, Queen Esther, published last year. But what John is most proud of these days is having 2 of his grandchildren competing in the Olympics for the U.S., and that's Burke and Savay Irving, who are both free ski half-pipe athletes. Irving can't attend the Olympics due to health reasons, but he texts them often and tells them how proud he is of them. For example, a recent text told him that making the Olympics, as Burke did in 2022, is incredible, but making the Olympics together as siblings, that's a storybook, one that should be cherished. The note told Burke and Savay that everything they've accomplished is a byproduct of ambition and focus colliding into a perfect storm of realized talent. They read that they should be proud of that, and that their grandfather wished he could be in Italy to see them compete. He said he was in awe of who they are and what they do. Irving himself was a wrestler for Pitt and the University of Iowa back in the 1960s and had dreams of being an Olympian himself, but admittedly was not very good. So that was not to be. But his son Brendan pursued skiing instead at college and met his wife, who was also a skier, and they settled in Winter Park, Colorado, where their children had the opportunity to develop into world-class skiers. Irving will be up at 1:30 a.m. to watch Burke do his first run on Thursday, and Svay will be a little later that morning. So that's in a few hours. As Irving compares their crafts, he says they always had it. They were willing to block out all the distractions and do it again and again and again. Repetition, I've always thought, if nothing else, writing and rewriting is a dedication to a repetitive process. Any craft, any sport, the more you repeat it, the better you get at it, but you have to do it. Sage advice from Irving. And the thing I would add is maybe the NFL should follow suit, because, he's talking about honing your craft through repetition, through practice. And what has the NFL done all these years with all these CBAs? They've reduced the amount of practice that they do. Mm-hmm. So, but I think that's a pretty cool Sue's Corner there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, Reg, you've had a little time to think. I think you
and I was very happy because that was one of the longer Sue's Corner. It gave me a little bit of time to look up some things, come up with a couple things here, and I was able to get some things together. I'm very happy for that, Dave. Thank you, Dave and Sue, for that. My team with the Braves, we're just hoping that we don't suck this year. That's what we're hoping. Because when last year, it was a little bit of an off year for us in the sense that we weren't winning, and we've just maybe it's like the Steelers in Pittsburgh. In Atlanta, we are used to the Braves winning games, and we expect to win games with the Braves. So when the Braves are not winning, it's like a problem for us. Like we don't know what to do. It's like in Bama after we lost a game and we're ready to just close the whole program down. Like after one game loss, we're ready to get rid of this thing. And it's kind of like I'm hoping that we get some of our key players back. We had some health issues last year. I'm hoping that those kind of take care of themselves and kind of see where we go from here, because this is uncharted territory. I'm hoping that it was just a fluke year for us and we're right back at it this upcoming year.
Okay. Don, Rangers or Astros?
I think the Rangers will have a better season just because I think the Astros are kind of like reloading, even though they did make some acquisitions. But I'll know more when the season starts. I mean, baseball. I mean, they play a lot of freaking games. I mean, so
They do, man. Yes,
yeah,
they do.
I remember one year. I think Reggie can help me out. One year Atlanta won like 15 straight back in the 80s. I think 83, 84. And they didn't make the playoffs. So, I mean, that's baseball's a weird game. So,
Yeah, man.
But I'm kind of pulling for the Rangers this year. I think they're looking good.
All right. Dave, what's our pirate story here?
Well, maybe, just maybe, the owner is actually spending some money. So he went out and he got some hitters. They've needed lumber. Ironically, as small, one of the smaller markets, they're one of the most profitable teams. But that's because the owner doesn't spend any money. But he's got some pitchers around: Paul Skeens, Bubba Chandler, and Ashcraft, and I think Brandon Ashcraft. He's getting some hitters. And it looks like the team is going to be improved. Now, they have not had a winning season since 2018. So I'll go out. I'm going to say that they go 82-80 this year.
Wow. Well, you calling the breaking of the drought is what you're calling. You're breaking the drought this upcoming year. You're doing.
I mean, because if you got a talent as long as they stay healthy, especially Skeens and some of these guys, but if they stay healthy, and they've put some assets around Skeens, he has enough talent where maybe they break 500 for the first time since 2018.
Do they have any talent on that team that kind of that's near Skeens' talent, or is he kind of like far and above more talented than any other person on that team?
He's a phenom. He's it. But Chandler and Ashcraft are, they should be okay filling in behind them, and they have some other pitchers that if they can, with the bats they have, if they can win they were losing all these one-run games. I think they only won 71 games last year, and but if they can get some offense and maybe win some of those, and then behind Skeens, then they
I mean, a 10 to 11 game improvement is not out of line,
What's that?
I said a 10 to 11 game improvement isn't crazy. That's less than 20% or so from off of what their wins were this past year. I don't think that's crazy. Another 10 to 11 gets you right over breaking that hump.
Let's see. We don't have Mr. Scott will probably come in a little later. I'm sure he will. But guys, interesting statement from Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban says that the NBA should embrace tanking for the
I don't know about that, man. Come on, man.
To improve the fans' experience. Reg, you seem to have something to say here.
It doesn't seem like it makes sense to me, because if you're going to tank, so that means, or if you're going to tell me that you're going to embrace tanking, what that tells me is you're not going to play your players. That's the only way that you can embrace tanking. You're going to have to sit your players, sit them early. Are the fans going to have special ticket prices for when you're tanking? I want to know that if I go and take my daughter to a game, that the individuals that are advertised to play might actually play the game, or I would never have came. I would never brought her out. We would have never chose that date to go. We would have never, you see what I'm saying? All that stuff that kind of goes, it's easy for these guys that go to 80 games or 40 games to say, hey, we're just going to sit a couple guys, but you're there for 40 of them. So I understand why you would say that. If you're Mark Cuban or somebody that's sitting on the floor seats all this time, I get what you're saying. But how are you going to have a product, which I think is what the NBA suffers from now, is you don't know who's playing. You don't know who's playing on any given night. And with football, this would be a big issue. Let's say that I remember when Bijan wasn't played or was played for a quarter or so, and there was a whole investigation behind it. because they were trying to figure out why is Bijan not playing? We weren't told he was injured. Why is he not playing? In basketball, they can just sit you. They can just sit you down, and maybe they deal with a fine or something, but there's not significant repercussions for holding out star players that people are paying their hard money to come and see. And I don't know how they fix that, or not having those players available would help the fan experience,
But
I'm embarrassed to say that he's from Pittsburgh. It's embarrassing. I mean, he just, I don't watch the NBA at all, so I don't really have any comments other than to say that's not attracting me to come watch NBA. And I don't watch NBA now. And
you wouldn't know who you're watching,
me to come watch.
but Don, when Mark was the majority owner of the Mavericks, they were fined $600,000 when they got the rights to Jokic.
Yep. Yeah, Mark Cuban is a complex individual. I'll just leave it there.
Hey, but I do think the Mavericks were under a much better regime when he was the majority.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Mavericks were a better team when he owned them, for sure.
Yeah. So let's see. Don, do you still follow the Spurs without Pop?
I do. The Spurs are going to win the NBA championship this year.
Spurs look pretty good. Now is the time. James, if you're going to follow Spurs, if you've been following the Spurs the last few years, Don, don't give up on them now. Like now's not the time to sell your Spurs stock, man.
No, the Spurs are looking good. I mean, they have Wemby and Fox and Castle, but that's the new big three. We used to talk about Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan. But now we got another big three, so we'll see how it goes. But they're very talented. They're young. I mean,
they're young. Yeah,
very
that's
young,
what it is,
very
man.
young.
They're young. The same timeline, those guys.
The problem the Spurs are going to have, and I don't know if it's going to be a problem yet. It could be, is if one of these guys decides to pull a Kawhi Leonard, where he just doesn't want to be a Spur. He wants to go to California and
he just sits down.
Yeah, sits it. Now, but in the past, the Spurs front office they've been real good about picking guys of high character, who want to win.
Is RC still there? Is RC still in San Antonio, right?
Yeah. He's still there. So
okay, there we go. As long as RC's there, man, I'll ride that out.
That helps out. And right now, everything we're seeing from our big three is they want to fulfill their contracts. They want to win. So
yeah,
hopefully it happens.
Kind of remind me of that young trio in OKC. But I think it might come down to the Spurs and OKC, but we'll see. Let's see here. Paul Feinbaum, he says that Lane Kiffin won the off season. Don, what do you think?
That's interesting.
Well, he brought in what's his name, Levitt from Arizona State, who's a pretty good quarterback. Louisiana, let's just say this: Louisiana has a plethora of athletes, and they have a lock on Louisiana. I mean, if you're a 5-star, 4-star at Louisiana, you're probably going to end up at LSU. Because LSU is like the other school we have is Tulane, and no one's going to Tulane unless they can help it. It's not like Texas. We got Texas, A&M, Tech, SMU. I mean, the other school that kind of runs that is like Georgia. I mean, people want to go to Georgia. People want to go to Alabama. People want to go to LSU. So LSU is smack dab in the middle of great talent because they can recruit East Texas. They can recruit West Mississippi, Southern Tennessee. I mean, they're surrounded by a lot of athletes. And so to me, LSU has always been like the what they call the sleeping tiger. They haven't been producing well because they had a shitty coach, but now they got someone they have someone now who knows what they're doing. Lane Kiffin is a creature of the SEC. I mean, he's been at Ole Miss, been at Tennessee, so he knows the game. He knows he has contacts. So LSU is going to be a huge player this year and next year and the year after that and the year after that and the year after that, as long as Lane Kiffin's there.
Oh, okay. What do you think there, Dave?
I really don't know. It's just kind of interesting that Texas is such fertile, and Louisiana is just such fertile recruiting ground for these schools, and it's like, how do they divide them up? And I guess if you can get them, if you can get those recruits, if you can attract them, well, then you're going to win. But I don't, and I was going to ask Don. I mean, do you see a lot of those local recruits going out to like programs like up in the Big Ten or California, or do they all stay scouts?
A lot of them will end up at Ohio State, believe it or not. A lot of our blue chips from Texas end up at Ohio State. Back when Saban was at Alabama, a few ended up at Alabama, like Jalen Monroe. There's a lot of talent throughout SEC territory. If you put your compass in the middle of Atlanta, Georgia, and went 50 miles outside there, I mean, that's a good place to recruit. If you took your same compass and went to, let's say, put right in the middle of Florida and did the
right,
yeah, you're going to find athletes. I mean,
South Florida, yeah,
like Texas, Sarka's got probably as many kids from Florida and Georgia than he has from Texas. I mean, and he also recruits California because he's he has still has a lot of ties in California. But there's plenty of athletes to go around in like 6 different states.
Sure. Reg, I kind of heard some groanings there. What's your thoughts?
Oh no, I wasn't necessarily. I didn't really have anything. I have nothing negative to say about anything that was said. I mean, it's all Southeast, man. Southeast has always been a great recruiting fertile ground for recruiting, and I think Kiffin will be able to take advantage of that. It'll be interesting to see what he does there.
Reg, it was a shame that you missed last week because we were talking about your quarterback possibly
Ty
being drafted by the Steelers at number 21. If he could,
yeah, man, I would just hope so. I don't know if he's gonna make it that long, but I kind of, you guys know how I feel about this. I want anybody to be drafted by the Steelers. I want us to draft some. I want to look if we can draft Ty, I'm going to take that. But I don't know if he's going to be there. I think teams are going to fall in love with him. I don't know if he's going to be there at 21.
Yeah,
but if he's there,
a lot of people are saying he won't.
When I said last week, I didn't think that they would, but if the scouting department rated him that high, they have enough draft capital where they could trade up.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I
like him.
We're going to talk a little bit about that too, Dave, because I got some questions there.
I wouldn't necessarily mind that situation like that. As far as for Bama, I'm definitely sad because I felt like our season turned around instantaneously when he became the starter, and I talked about that throughout the season. How much I liked the kid. As soon as he was starting, I liked him. I don't know, guys. I'm always hesitant to say a guy is going to be good with as few starts as Ty has had, even though he started for my team. And he started for Bama, but he hasn't started a lot, so he doesn't have a ton of experience. I'm interested to see how that plays out, but I loved him in Bama. I hate to see him go, and wish him the best of luck. Hope he goes to.
Is he going to be at the combine next week? Is he going to?
I gotta see where he's throwing. I don't know if he's throwing on a pro day or if he's throwing at the combine. I gotta see. I haven't followed his particular situation to see how he's got that worked out. I think his draft situation too, guys, was helped by Moore and just not coming back. When Moore decided to go back to Oregon, I think that helped Simpson's draft stock. So I think it made things a little bit harder for teams that may want to target him.
Yeah. I think it is doubtful that he'll fall to 21, but look.
Stranger things have happened, guys. I mean, it could. There's still a process that needs to play out between now and then. where teams, but I feel like usually the process that plays out is teams falling in love more with quarterbacks versus the opposite. So we'll see.
Okay. Don, is it college playoffs or bust for Texas this year?
Oh yeah.
It's every year. It's every year,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Every year for these teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of controversy about Texas not making it this year, but if you look at our acquisitions in the portal, I mean, we got an All-American linebacker out of Pittsburgh. We got two good running backs, one from Arizona State, the other one's from, I believe, North Carolina State. We got a huge monster defensive lineman from Arkansas. I mean, and we filled some gaps on the offensive line, so they're all in. I mean, Texas cut loose some guys who I was surprised, but they lost Parker Livingston to Oklahoma. Parker Livingston was Arch Manning's roommate, and he caught I think 7 touchdown passes this year. But they went and got Cam Coleman out of Auburn, who's an All-American. So they lost some guys that I thought they should have kept, but step back looking at it, I think they upgraded. So yeah, they're all in. They're all in.
I want to see what Arch Manning does this year, Don. I'm interested to see what that, because that first year is a bit underwhelming, my friend. I gotta tell you. I'm hoping for something this year.
Well, he started off the first 3 games, and then I don't know if you remember against Mississippi State, they had a comeback, and he got dinged. He got a concussion, and they put in the backup quarterback, and he went in through the game-winning touchdown pass, right? Well, the next week, after that concussion, he came back, and he played like a whole different player. I mean, I think he threw 2 interceptions the rest of the year, and I think one of those was a tip pass, and he added a lot of rushing yards, touchdowns. He had, I think, a 60-yard against A&M, then against Michigan he had a 40-yarder run. So, I mean, he came to his own after that concussion. So maybe that knocked some
sense into him. That's what you were going to say. He said he got some sense knocked into him, and now he's back playing the way that we thought. I mean, nice to have another Manning in the league. So I'm rooting for that to happen, but it's I was hoping I would see more last year for sure.
Well, in this year, last year he started off the first game on the road against Ohio State.
Terrible, right? It's tough.
Yeah, and they lost by 14-7 game. It is a touch and go game there for a while. And Arch played not too good. This year they played Texas State, which should be a win. So they had that game, that game experience under the belt, and then they have Ohio State at home.
Oh, interesting.
I could probably get 700 for my tickets.
Goodness.
There's Don speculating already, Don.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I'm gonna take my wife to the game and let her see what the game against Ohio State would be like. That'd be a good game.
It'd be nice. It's gonna be a madhouse in there.
Yeah. Road trip to Oklahoma in the future?
No, we play that game in Dallas every year. If I can help it, I'll never set foot in Oklahoma ever again.
Yeah, that was a definitive and quick no there, Don. I was gonna draw attention to how fast that no was. I don't know if he finished the question. Solid. He's not going to Oklahoma.
Don loves the roads in Oklahoma, and he enjoys driving on them.
Yeah, the only way I might get to Oklahoma is some of my buddies from high school. They want to go to the WinStar Casino on the Choctaw Reservation.
Wow, on the reservation.
And the thing is, once you cross the Red River, it's like a mile on the right. So I might be able to hold my nose and do that. We'll see.
Well, then you're not in Oklahoma if you're on a reservation, right?
Well, yeah, still.
I mean, that's actually worse in your favor, actually, Don. I mean, to be honest.
I'll go back 19th century and call it Indian Territory.
Oh man, Don is loves Oklahoma. we're gonna have to make a song about that. Road trip. Yeah, there you go. We'll do a road trip to Oklahoma with Don.
Yeah, that sounds like a good country song, country western song.
You gotta let me know how that goes for you, man.
Throw in the pickup, a dog, some beer. Yeah,
See,
prison.
Yeah. We still miss Ranger, running around the house. There's no barking.
I know. I'm gonna get a dog eventually. So don't worry. You'll hear him
Don't worry,
bark.
we want barking again here on the air soon for you.
Yeah. So, guys, what do you think, Reg? I'm going to come to you here. What do you think the Seahawks are worth after winning the Super Bowl?
What is the last team that got sold? Was it Washington or was it the Broncos? Was it the Broncos that got sold or was it Washington?
I think it was Washington.
I would say, because Snyder's gone.
It is. Okay, so I'm trying to see what they went for because the Broncos, was it $6 million? Broncos sale price?
It wasn't with the M.
Okay, no, $6 billion. So
it wasn't with the M.
August 22, 4.6 for the Broncos. So let's look at the Commanders. Okay, guys. So 4.6, August 22 for the for the Broncos, 6.05 billion. So that's about roughly another $1.5 billion a year, almost a calendar year later for the Commanders. Is that a market situation? That's interesting to me that a calendar year later, the Commanders go for $1 billion, almost $1.5 billion more.
Washington was one of the most had the biggest assets. It was one of the larger teams money wise.
And that was one that also Magic Johnson is in that ownership group with Josh Harris. Okay, so $6 billion. Right. Okay. So what's interesting about that, guys, is kind of thinking about those things. What assets are tied into the sale? Like when you're looking at the Seahawks, is it just the team? Are there other assets that are tied into that? Because as a team, if you're just going records and teams, guys, I don't necessarily
think this is an estate sale because the original owner died. So this is an estate sale, basically.
So what are they selling though? Or are they selling the stadium too, or are they selling just the team? Or do you know?
I don't think they own the stadium. Because like for example, with the Steelers, there's like it's a separate organization. Now they have
to do two different deals.
Now they may have a percentage of the stadium.
So guys, if you have to think at least the $5 to $6 billion. All right, if we're looking at in the middle range, because 4.6 for the Broncos, 6.05 for the Commanders. If you go in the middle around 5, at least for the Seahawks, I feel like the Seahawks have a claim because they just won the Super Bowl. But I think if you look at the legacy of the Commanders and the history of the Redskins and the Commanders and Washington, it's a lot of history there, from legacy team wise, those championships, all the stuff that kind of comes with that. But I think $5 to $6 billion at least, right, for the Seahawks. Are you guys thinking it would be less than? No way, it's less than the Broncos. No way, it's less than 4.6.
They were in Forbes valued them at $6.7 billion in August of 2025. Now that doesn't mean that's
the
what they'll sell for. That's what the Seahawks.
6 point, man. That means guys, man.
Because as James points out, I mean, it's an estate sale. But it could be more. I mean,
I think so too.
The thing is,
I think 7 to 8 now.
Because this is market. So how many groups are bidding on it? This is like buying a house. If nobody's interested in buying houses, well, then it's going to go for below what the valuation might be. But if there's a lot of people, if there's like 3 or 4 serious ownership groups going for it, that could drive up the price. Maybe $10 billion. Okay.
So I'm landing now. I've moved up my progression. My projections based on that Forbes estimate now at the lower end is 6 to 8 at the lower end. So now I'm 6 to 8 billion on the low end. And I do think it can go to 10 because you could just do a bomber situation. If some rich guy just decides he wants to come in off the top rope with a deal, they don't want anybody to match. We all know that $10 billion usually gets that done. So if somebody decides to come in with just a number off the top rope to just get it done, it wouldn't surprise me. But I think the floor is 6. I'd be shocked if it sells for less than 6.
I'd be shocked if it sold for less than 8. But Don, what do you think here? You know, you got a bunch of young guys there. You know, you don't have, you know, like Sam is still young.
Got a young coach, man.
Is still young. Walker still young. When you're talking about running back, actually came into his own this year without what was his backup?
Charbonnet was injured the last couple games. But Charbonnet played a big part throughout the year, though.
Yeah, well, Charbonnet usually does play a big part when they get down inside the 10, or so. But this year, like I said, Walker kind of came into his own. What's your thoughts there, Don? We got a little more sensible group than Jerry.
Yeah, that's yeah. The Seahawks are a well-run organization. I mean, to me, the organization that are well-run, you're talking about like Seattle, San Francisco. They're well-run. I throw Pittsburgh in there.
A lot of Steelers fans wouldn't agree with you, but
the Steelers, there's a lot of Steelers fans who need to be grateful that they've had such a
man.
Good, yeah.
Don't take it for granted. I mean, I try to tell them all the time, Don. Don't take it for granted, guys.
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
Okay, and I would say Denver and Kansas City are well run also, but Seattle, right now they're in their golden age, I believe. I mean, they play defense like no one does, and the offense puts points on the board. So special teams, the special teams are good. So I think we might be looking at some repeat, whatever. So,
wow.
Yeah, they're
already, man. That's early, Don.
Well, and they're going to get it better. I mean, you got the draft coming up, and so I trust their front office to put people in positions to be successful.
Yeah, they've done it up to this point, so they've earned the trust for sure.
I can't say that about Dallas. I mean,
neither in Atlanta. I mean, not a lot of teams, unfortunately, can say it. Unfortunately,
Dave, I got to pick out another question for you here because I know how much you loved, teams traveling and whatnot. And it seems this year that the 49ers will not only be going to Europe, but they will also be going to Mexico City. Mexico City, you can just jump on the plane and, it's not like it's going all the way to Europe, but it does involve travel and time zone change and whatnot. What's your thoughts here? I think this is the first team that we've known that's going to be having 2 overseas games.
Well, Minnesota did it last year, but they were both close together, London and Dublin.
Yeah, for sure.
In this case, you're going to 2 different continents. You're going. Well, Mexico is still North America technically. Maybe that's the way they're justifying it. But this is part of the NFL's plan. I think that they eventually want to have every team to have an international game.
Well, Kraft says he wants it. Yeah, that's what Kraft wants.
And part of the strategy is to attract fans. Because when I went to Dublin, the thing that surprised me was there was a lot of Steeler fans there, but they weren't all from Pittsburgh. I was meeting Germans, English, Italians, and it was like, so what they're trying to do is by getting more exposure overseas, they're hoping to create bigger fan bases. And Mexico has huge fans club, like 49ers have a big fan base. Steelers are big there. Cowboys are of course big there, but there's other teams that you wouldn't think would be big in Mexico that are. And so the challenge to me for them is it's going to be, I don't think the players are very happy. I think it was it Zach Banner? He just tweeted out that he asked 60 NFL players if they like playing international games. 56 out of the 60 said no. They don't like it, because one is and Don knows this, as good as anybody, but football players are creatures of habit. You get in your routine preparing for the game. Now, as soon as you're going overseas, all those routines are thrown out the window. And you got to truncate your practice week. Then you have to adjust. You're moving your whole. If it's your home game, well, now you have like a home stadium, but not necessarily the home fans. And so I think it's going to be a growing process, but they're going to, just like going to the 18-game season, they're going to continue going down this path, because in order for the NFL to grow, they've probably pretty much saturated the American market. Well, the way to grow is to grow it outside of the country. Unfortunately, I think where it's going to hurt is the product. An 18-game season is going to hurt the product. It's going to dilute the product. More international games are going to dilute the product. Now, that said, the next time the Steelers have an international game, I want to go, because Dublin would experience. So I'm being hypocritical. I admit it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you just bashed the system, and then you just were the first person to sign up for the system at the same time, Dave.
And so and that's where I think the NFL has I don't think that the players are enthusiastic about it, but depending on the owners, they don't necessarily want to lose their home games, because then you lose that home revenue. But for some of the away teams or some of the teams that aren't attracting so many people, well, yeah, let's go.
Don, what do you think here?
I agree with that as well.
Well, I understand the desire to have an international game. I get it. I don't really like it because, I don't have to get up at 5 a.m. to watch a game. I mean,
For sure.
because it's always some weird ass time that I have to get up. Now the games in Mexico or even Canada or anywhere in the Western Hemisphere, that's not a big problem. But when you start talking about Europe and Asia, now we got problems. I'm surprised American football hasn't caught on in Australia, because Australians are very. I mean, if Texans were a country,
They're
like
playing in Australia this year.
that's good.
They're playing in Melbourne.
Okay,
It begins.
It's some of our punters in college and NFL are from Australia. The pro kick, they call it. I was talking about somebody that had the Seahawks have such great special teams. Well, Michael Dixon, who went to UT, he's from Australia. I mean, he's one of the few guys I know he was the MVP of the Alamo Bowl his senior year. Who's ever heard of a punter being MVP of a bowl game?
I haven't heard him being MVP of anything.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
But he had what, three kicks within the
he
5-yard line?
Yeah, he had like 3 or 4 kicks inside the 5.
Yeah. Reg, what's your thoughts here? 18 games, 32 teams, 32 countries.
Man, I am ready for all of it. I think it's going to happen. I just think it's the inevitability, because when you look at one thing from traveling is looking at soccer. As I become a soccer fan through traveling, I never was really, but through traveling, I've become one. And I think that when you look at what the NBA has done, when you look at what MLB have done, when you look at the kind of international outreach that both of those organizations have, the NFL is behind in that aspect. They, as far as global adoption, and I think that has a lot to do to what it takes to play the game. You need a few things to play football versus playing basketball. Might just be a ball, or soccer, just a field and a ball or something like that. But I do think that the NFL can benefit from that. I think that maybe in conjunction with the 18-game season actually would kind of help the international situation, I think, to be honest with you. If you're going to lean into the 18-game season, I think now is the time to lean into an international situation as well. Like you might as well lean into them right around the same time so that you can maybe offset some of those concerns that they brought up. Because if I'm an owner and you tell me that I have 8 to 9 home games, I want 8 to 9 home games. I need those games from a revenue perspective. I need them to be at home. So maybe there's things they can work out. But when it comes to the games just being played overseas, I'm all for it. When you look at it, the Mexico City situation, Mexico City is closer to San Francisco than Atlanta is. So it's like it's actually a shorter flight to Mexico City than it is to Atlanta. So I think logistically these things need to be thought about. You looked at the logistics to see what can happen, and maybe over time it'll get worked out. But it definitely looks like the NFL is ready to try to penetrate some of these other markets and at least get fan penetration there. If you're not playing games there, at least try to get more fans there.
I liked NFL Europe, and I think that the way. And the NFL should never have abandoned NFL.
What happened to that?
And they just folded it.
Finance.
Oh, okay. They had European teams,
but they were packing. I want to see Frankfurt play in Frankfurt, and I mean they were packing the stadiums. They were packing them.
Yeah, well, that's why the NFL is going back there, because they know that they can pack the stadiums. They wouldn't be going back if the stadiums were empty.
I actually had a friend who played for the Barcelona franchise.
That's interesting, man.
What did he say about it? What was his view of it?
He said the worst thing about that, of course, the language, but so next to her practice facility was a graveyard.
Oh,
now, they bury their bodies in Spain, but sometimes the graveyards are so crowded they build these like skyscrapers that are like crypts. Like yeah. Well, some of the construction was kind of shabby, so when the breeze blew in from a certain direction, you get the smell of decomposing bodies.
Fuck. I mean, my bad. It's about 10 count. I mean,
yeah.
Nice.
So
I'll just say that.
Imagine being on the football field in practice and the wind comes and you get the smell of death.
Just like death, man. Just breathing through everything there. It's crazy.
What was his, like, were they getting big crowds there? I mean,
yeah. I mean, you can look at it on TV and see they were getting crowds. That's why people were surprised when they folded.
I think the Spanish are a lot like, other Europeans. They may not understand the game, but it's exciting. You see a guy throw a 50-yard pass, or you see a guy run for, 60 yards, whatever, and you see people getting hit, and they're serving beer, cerveza. Yeah. So you're gonna get crowds for that because hey, that's a good place to hang out, socialize. He said that they actually had tailgates, where they're out there, not serving barbecue, they're serving paella, but hey.
It's delicious too, by the way. I just got to step out there and say that.
A good paella is good paella. Reg, I'm going to my physical therapy tomorrow, and my physical therapist, he's a Raider fan, and he said that he thinks that the Raiders should acquire Kirk Cousins to mentor Mr. Mendoza. What's your thoughts?
No. Why would you do that? Like, what if see, here's the thing. The Falcons, where that guy screwed up in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean,
that got screwed up because we drafted our quarterback after we had Kirk Cousins. So we had Kirk Cousins, and then we didn't know Mike Penix was going to be there. We drafted him after we had Kirk Cousins. Why would you? The Raiders know for a fact they're drafting Mendoza. So there is no mystery here who they're drafting and who they're going to go with. With no mystery, why would you actively sign up for that type of situation? I don't know. And I feel like Kirk could probably go back to Minnesota or something somewhere. I don't feel like that's terrible for him.
Well, if Geno's not going to be there, If Gino's not going to be there, what veteran are you going to get to mentor this young man?
Man, you know he's going number one.
Be
ready to suit up, kid. Be ready to suit up and run out here, man. I hate to say it, but listen, guys, if you're a quarterback that gets drafted in that top 5 picks, guys, you might need to get ready to lead a locker room of full-grown men, man. Like, you're going to be a kid out here leading your whole locker room because the whole franchise is going to be on your shoulders. Hopefully, they keep Gino there, somebody there, an older person that can kind of mentor Mendoza. But we all know what we all want. We want to see the kid play. They're going to want to see the kid play. The fan base are going to want to see the kid play. So I don't understand why you bring in a Kirk Cousins. I mean, if you got Gino, just let Gino just stay there and do that. I mean,
Gino's already.
I don't know what kind of locker room
he?
guy he is.
Isn't Gino already gone? When they
is he on? I don't know. I thought he was still on the team. I'm not sure if he's on it or not.
Well, I mean, all of the contracts aren't up until March 11th. You know.
Okay, so we won't know until March if he's gone.
Unless they sign, or no. Actually, he's under contract through 2028. So he's signed through the 2027 season.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he just signed the contract with Seattle before something, and then he got traded with that contract. I thought that the Raiders just took that contract on that he had previously signed.
That doesn't mean that he'll be on the team, but he right now they have him under contract, so they could just, I guess.
I mean, I would just maybe ride that out. I mean, versus bringing Kurt in.
Bring in Phillip Rivers.
I mean, it's just as good. I mean, that's not crazy. I mean, that's not. I mean, what does he want? I mean,
because his cap number is $26.5 million in 2026.
Who's you talking about?
That's
Gino.
Gino's cap number. Okay. The kid Mendoza is going to be on rookie contract, right? When he comes in,
so it's affordable.
Don, what do you think?
I would rather deal with that than add a third, because then that means Kirk would actually be a third quarterback you're adding to that in theory, then, right? Because if you already got, Mendoza's coming, Gino's under contract. If you were to bring in Kirk, you're really bringing in a third guy.
Well, you would get rid of Gino at that point, but then he has like an $18 million cap hit. There's some cap savings, but
and you're also talking about a Russell Wilson type deal with the Falcons, where the Falcons are actually going to have to pay Kurt's salary anyway. Don, what's your thoughts here?
Well, I don't like the label of mentor quarterback. I think Mendoza is physically, mentally, spiritually there. I mean, he is. What they just need is to get a good backup. I don't know what their backup situation like on the roster, but I mean,
sounds like it might be Gino.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, but I would want to put pressure on Gino to be the mentor, because he may not be down with that, but
for sure.
If I'm the coach and I draft Mendoza, I draft him knowing he's going to be my starter, but. I say you're gonna have to win. You're gonna have to win it in training camp.
Yeah, I'm sure Kubiak knows that. If he doesn't trot Mendoza out there, there's going to be some heads flying. And so, yeah, I think Kubiak is very well aware of that. Dave, it seems like the Chiefs have opened up some cap space, about. $47 million worth, $44 million worth. I think. I forget the exact number I put up there.
It says 43.65 is what you got here.
Yeah. Okay. They're opening up some cap space for the Chiefs. What's your thoughts on this here? Are the Chiefs just? I mean, this is the first year that they've missed that Super Bowl run, the playoffs. What's your thoughts here?
Well, I mean that's a common move to open up some space to maybe sign some free agents, and they may have. Mahomes isn't going to lose any money. It's just kind of deferring it, pushing it down the line. I mean, that's what they did with
No,
Ben.
they actually made it as a signing bonus for him, so he actually
Well,
got
that's the way they push it down. He gets the money right away, but
Yeah.
then the hit on the cap is deferred down the line, so he doesn't lose any money. And they did that with Ben several times. And so what you're doing is you're freeing up money so that you can spend it now. So it sounds like Kansas City is saying, okay, we got embarrassed this past year, but we're competitive. They feel that they can be a competitive team in 2026. That's what that's telling me.
Okay. Don, what's your thoughts here?
I think, well, I mean, Kansas City did what Kansas had to do, but I think it's kind of a signal that, like, I hate saying this because I love Mahomes, but I think it's still, hey, we're starting to prepare for the future.
Without
Thanks.
Mahomes is what you're saying. I thought it's preparing for the future with Mahomes. You're saying preparing for the future.
Well, so 2 years ago it was like this, right? Now it's like it's starting to level out, starting to decline. So, yeah, Mahomes still has some good years left, but he's had the injury bug. They didn't make the playoffs. He's not going to have his tight end. I think he's finished, right? Didn't retire.
Is he retiring?
I think so.
Man,
Last I heard, it was leaning that way. So, I mean, Kelsey was like the go-to guy, and of course Worthy was injured a few games, and so they're going to have to restock. Get him some weapons, and I think the offensive line needs a lot of help because he was running for his life and getting knocked down more so this year than any other year. So I mean Mahomes is still going to play, but the writing's on the wall when they say, hey, we're going to cut your salary to make some room. So.
Well, they haven't cut his. He
They
hasn't
didn't cut his salary. He just got. They made it a signing bonus, so he ended up getting like what 47 million.
Yeah,
I think
they gave it to him up front to just moved the money around basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I took it as they were.
Oh no! I don't. Is there anybody that takes a salary cut nowadays?
Yeah, well, listen, there will be 31 teams on the line to the Chiefs for Mr. Mahomes' services if that was to be the case.
Reg,
I'm sorry.
I
misunderstood the modus operandi, I guess.
Yeah, and you know what? I just took a look at it. The Chiefs are in the red right now. They're 11.3
after the move?
million in the red. No, before the move.
No, before the move.
Okay.
That's why they made move.
So they're in bad cap shape right now.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that'll ease things up for them, I'm sure.
Yeah, and there's talk of of course easing it giving some other players too. But right now it's like you said they were about 11 million over the cap. So now I mean it sounds like a lot, but when you think about 32 million, it's not.
You can go fast depending on who you sign and what your needs are for sure.
Reg, what's your thoughts here on Mr. Mahomes?
I mean, nothing
Chiefs.
to see here yet for the Chiefs. The Travis Kelce situation is interesting. That would be an interesting development if he decided to step away. But I think as far as the Chiefs, I don't think there's really anything to see here now. If they have another year, just looking at Mahomes' productivity here, if they have another year where he goes under 4,000 yards, that'll be 3 years in a row where he's under 4. After having like 7-8 years in a row where he's 4,000 to 5,000. So that would be a significant drop in production that we'd be seeing. So maybe if we start to see something like that, but I think Mahomes has got at least another 2 or 3 years of fall off room there for the Chiefs. And this signals to me that they're trying to get him some other people in here. But I think that 32 is going to go even less further if Kelce walks away. Like we're sorry. I feel like they had needs with Kelce there. Kelce walks away then, and the money's going to go by pretty fast.
Well, we shall see. But I think that they've always wanted Noah Gray to kind of step up. So we'll see how that also.
Gray's been on the team for a while, hasn't he? He's
Yes,
been on
he
the team at least a
has.
few years.
Mr. Scott comes on when we only got 2 more questions left, but that's okay. How you doing
That's
tonight,
that's
Mr.
pretty
Scott?
typical behavior there from these guys in Minnesota, man. They come on right at the end,
Hit and run.
It's called load management. It's called load management.
Oh, okay.
I know you got to rest up, man. Rest up for these takes, man. I get it.
Well, Mr. Scott, I'm gonna since you go come in, I'm gonna throw you right into the fire here. What do you think about Anthony Richardson and the Colts? Are they going to cut him? Are they going to trade him? Are they going to keep him? What's the deal here?
I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I think he's got worked his way into a nice contract. So, he could be one of those salary cap casualties. A lot of teams looking for a quarterback. Personally, I don't really want a rapper to be my quarterback. I mean, I really don't, especially for big money.
Is he a rapper? Like, does he rap? I don't know he was a rapper.
Oh, yeah. He raps.
I just didn't want him because he throws about 50%. I don't want him in Atlanta for that reason. I'm done for that. I'm just done for that.
Yeah, he's not in much demand. So I mean, if the other guy gets healthy again, David Jones, I think he's very expendable. Would he stay on as a backup? I think he's got a nice salary. So we'll see. We certainly don't want him here. I mean, we don't need him, but they've been talking about they've been talking about us getting the world's tallest midget. There's a lot of talk about that.
The world's tallest midget is going to the Jets, I believe.
Good.
Well, good luck there.
Good.
So Reg, what's your thoughts here on Mr. Richardson?
Are you asking me?
The only one Reg on the panel here.
Oh, I didn't. My bad. I didn't hear. I'm gonna second what Mr. Scott just said, and David's head shaking. No. That's what I think. I'm gonna agree with the rest of the panel. It's no, and I don't want a player whose completion percentage is sub 60 playing for the Steelers or for the Falcons. But when you add in the fact that a player is sub 60% and he's a rapper, like, I didn't even know that part. That's now it's terrible. I absolutely don't want that because I'm in Atlanta. I absolutely don't want it.
That might play big in Atlanta. Atlanta's, rappers.
No, we don't. We need a quarterback. We don't need an entertainer, man. Like, we just get a quarterback.
He's still on his rookie contract. 2026 was the 4th year of his rookie contract, and he was due like $10 million or whatever. But he quit. I mean, why would you want a quarterback that quit in the middle of the game? I don't get. I mean, I'm sure some team will give him a flyer, but I won't be surprised.
I don't remember. I didn't remember him quitting. Did he quit in the game?
Yeah, he pulled himself out of a game.
Oh, wow. Wow. Add that on now. I'm finding all kinds of things out about this guy.
I'm thinking that he can even appear on a practice squad this year.
Wow.
I'll be surprised if he plays much in 2026 because but somebody will sign him because quarterback is a very hard position to fill. There's not enough NFL caliber quarterbacks. And I'm not saying he's NFL caliber, but the problem is you just don't have enough quarterbacks to go around.
Well, he's got 11 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, and his completion percentage was low 60, but he didn't play in very many games. Like
Yeah, but Reg,
He only
you already
played 2
have two.
games
You
last
already have
year,
two
right?
quarterbacks. Reg, you already have 2 quarterbacks. You know,
Yeah,
Well,
he's-
I definitely don't want this.
Oh,
This is another problem I don't want. I don't. And if you have 2, that means you really have 0. To be honest with you, man.
well,
See,
you have
he'll be
see,
a number
starting
3
Mr.
quarterbacks.
Scott, see what happens with Mr. Scott when you come in late. See, because we were talking about sending Kirk Cousins over to the Raiders.
I said Minnesota's a better fit. If you really want to chime in on that.
Yeah, but you already have 2 quarterbacks, high paid Kirk Cousins, and then a number 1 draft pick. I mean, what more do you want?
Well, so what do you think about Kirk Cousins going to the Raiders?
Yeah, because Kirk Cousins, I don't think he's gonna be on our team. I don't even know if he's on the team now. To be honest with you.
Well, you're still paying him. You might as well.
I mean, he's here in spirit. I don't even think the man's in Georgia, man. I mean, I don't even know if he's in the state himself. He may be.
Don, bring some method to this man that's here. Derek Carr or Andrew
Derek
Anthony
Carr.
Richardson.
Is Derek Carr coming back?
You know, if given the choice, I would go Richardson, but that's just me. Yeah, I mean, some put a gun in my head, said make a choice.
Reg, you didn't know that Derek Carr was thinking about a comeback?
I didn't know that I'm thinking and coming back, 2 different things. I didn't know that. He's thinking about him coming back, but actually like running around, like seeing him run around out there like Bill. I mean, Phillip Rivers is open to floodgates, guys. So Phillip Rivers is open to floodgates for any of these guys to come back. Anybody can come back now. So I have to take all these things seriously when we say somebody's coming back. But even I would take Derek Carr probably off the couch versus Anthony Richardson. I'm not gonna lie.
Cam Newton would play good in Atlanta. Cam Newton.
Cam Newton didn't play good in the last few places he played. Like I didn't even play good in Carolina before he plays good in Atlanta.
Well, he'd fit in with Atlanta. You know, the type of scene in Atlanta.
He definitely does as an individual, as a citizen, for sure.
Mr. Scott, there's talk about the world's tallest midget, going to the Jets. What
Is
do you
that
think about
confirmed?
that? No, it's not confirmed.
But that's the rumor. The rumor is that he's going to the Jets. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, his limitations are he gets injured. It looks like he might have a problem staying healthy. So that's always a bad sign. And, the midgetarious, size, no. I mean,
Jesse Jackson.
New York and going to New York, great big market and a lot of expectations. Jets haven't been good in a long time. I think,
man,
boy.
Trying to get Aaron Glenn fired is what I hear. I hear another Aaron Glenn firing coming. Another coach fired.
Could very well be.
Don, what do you think about that possibility of Kyler ending up in New York? I mean, if he couldn't take the heat in Arizona, what the hell is he going to do in New York?
New York would be New York has a higher tax rate. Let's just put it that way. He's better off trying to stay in Arizona or go somewhere else, anywhere other than New York, because the Giants are terrible. Giants, Jets are all terrible. So I would, if I were him, I'd go look like maybe Miami.
Giants an upgrade to the Cardinals, in my opinion. I mean,
but
the Giants are going to, when they get that Scatterboo kid back, and they got Dart, and I forget who the wide receiver is, but they do have they have the beginnings of something. Whereas the
correct.
Jets,
I mean, they can still suck. But at least I think the Jets are going to suck. I mean, the Jets are just kind of always suck, though. That's their problem.
Yeah, Miami's having garage sales. They're tossing people left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, is Waddle available? Because I'll kick the tires on Waddle, man, if he's available.
There's talk that Tyree's going back to Kansas City. I don't want to hear that.
He can go back there. I don't want him coming to Pittsburgh. He can get out of here. He can go back. He can go back to Kansas City.
I think we've taken enough retreads. But Dave, there's ESPN. Now they have a reporter, and he does these things every year about guys that maybe should move on. And this year, Adam Schwartz is picking Nick Harvick, saying that instead of him being sitting on the bench behind two players, that it's possible that Nick could go somewhere else and start, and not only that, could also maybe get a few draft picks. What's your thoughts here on Schwartz's proposal?
Or is it Schwartz or Aaron
Shat.
Schwartz?
I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know what the name
Schatz.
is.
I think it's Schatz. Schatz. Aaron Schatz.
My first suggestion is maybe he should start watching some Steeler games. Herbig played 60% of the snaps of the games that he played in. And so I don't know if this ESPN guy understands the need for depth, especially at the edge on defenses. So, you don't really have many defenders playing 100% of the snaps. And so, like in the case of Herbig, I think the total for all the defensive snaps was maybe 50 or 52% of the Steelers' snaps. And in those, he had 7.5 sacks. So I don't understand how he's getting 7.5 sacks if he's sitting on the bench. So maybe this ESPN guy should start watching some football. I think where he's right is that Herbig is a talented player. Now, is he perfect? No. I mean, there's the run defense and stuff. But when he's on the field, and last year they were doing things like having 3 of the edges on the field at the same time, and it's a nice piece to have. I think what the Steelers have to do, instead of shooting themselves on the foot and letting them go, is to try to sign him to an extension to his contract if they can. Now, Herbig, his agent, may be saying, hey, we need to test the market.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he may be able to get more money by doing that. But if I'm the Steelers, I'm doing what I can to maybe sign him to a 2 or 3 year deal to keep him beyond 2026.
Okay. Mr. Scott, what are you going to do? What's the plan for this year? Are you going to get some new running backs? Is Jefferson staying? What's the rumors around town?
I hear Kirk Cousins is available too, by the way. You want to add that into your line of questioning there.
Know all about that. Yeah, know all about that. I don't really know. They got rid of the GM. And it was funny, the timing of that, because he was taking
satisfied with him anyway, right?
He was taking all kind of heat for the Sam Darnold thing.
It's a Sam Darnold, man. Got him out of there. That's unfortunate.
They just didn't want to wait till he actually won the Super Bowl to fire him. I mean, they got rid of him before then. And so they elevated somebody in the front office to take over the job. I don't know if they're going to even look for another GM. I don't know, because McCarthy, the coach, has a lot of power. What they do. So McCarthy is just such a risk. I mean, he doesn't stay healthy. He just hasn't really shown a whole lot. He's got a lot of stuff around the team. I mean, he bought a lot of free agents. His draft has been terrible. So that's another thing that's hurting him. So I don't know. I mean, they're really talking about getting another veteran, another quarterback. So, I guess Cousins could be on the table. I wouldn't like to see that. And I think the fans would be a lot of booing. I don't think we want to see. We've seen that act. We've seen that.
I mean, the last time you saw it, you guys were winning, though.
Well, then he got hurt. He suffered the injury. And,
well, that's the same thing you're talking about, McCarthy.
Yeah, I was going to say, your current guy is hurt.
What's going on with your offensive line?
Yeah.
What's going on with the offensive line? These quarterbacks all getting banged up.
Yeah, and they've had some injuries there with their offensive line and a lot of turnover.
You got JJ there, man. You can't be wasting that. You got to get JJ the ball. JJ needs the ball.
Boy, that's just not look. It's up in the air really right now what they're going to do. I really think they want to get a veteran quarterback, and I don't know who. They're even talking about your great ayahuasca. They're even talking about he wanted to come here. He wanted to come here before Pittsburgh. So
they're just making the rounds, man. If that would have happened, that would be hilarious.
I hope he's back in Pittsburgh next year.
You know,
really? I mean,
yeah,
okay.
as a mentor for Will Howard. See what Will Howard has.
So yeah, I don't really have an answer for the Vikings right now. It's still to be determined. You know, they've got to get the quarterback situation. And Aaron Jones, you know, I mean, he's got a lot of miles on him as a running back. So
yeah, I think it's about over for him.
Boy, not as a feature back. He's got to, be part of a committee if he's going to stay. But then, you know, you don't want committee money. See, you know, they don't, want the committee money. So then that's a concern too. So
he's probably
there's a lot of running backs on the free agent market, like Breece Hall from the Jets. I think he's going to be.
I kick the tires on that if I was a few teams. Breece Hall's a talent, man. I don't know what his past.
Williams. Is it not Jacoby Williams? But there's a few running backs on the free agent market coming up.
And I don't think I think we were talking about the running backs, probably the only one taken within the top 15, if that. So we'll see. Let's see. Don, final thoughts.
Okay. Well, I have kind of two. I'll try to be as brief as I can. Unfortunately, these involve deaths of, some sports people. University of Texas has some great running backs, as you know. Earl Campbell, Ricky Williams, Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes, Earl Campbell, Roosevelt Leaks. The first running back at the University of Texas to have 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons was a guy named Chris Gilbert. He played in the 60s, late 60s. He was the first running back to gain 1,000 yards running out of the wishbone formation, which was invented by Emory Ballard, who was offensive coordinator for Darrell Royal. Chris Gilbert passed away 2 weeks ago. I was going to mention it last week, but I didn't make it because I had some out of town company. But Chris Gilbert, he never played in the NFL. A lot of people wonder why. I've heard everything, but from what I've heard from people who knew him, his family, they said he just didn't want to play football anymore. He wanted to get on his life and do something else, and he did. He became an investment banker, and he started up a summer camp for underprivileged children in East Texas, and he was very active in UT alumni stuff, and supposed to be just a really nice guy. I never met him. I saw him at a tailgate once, but I never shook his hand. I didn't know he was going to die. But so Chris Gilbert, Godspeed. The other guy I want to talk about is a guy named Doug Moe. When we moved to San Antonio, Doug Moe was the coach of the Spurs, and he later went off to the Denver Nuggets. But he had a son named Tommy, who is actually a friend of my brother's, and so. The first Spurs games I went to back in 1980 was the tickets were given to us by Doug Moe's son, complimentary. Doug Moe's son was playing basketball in college. He was at Texas Lutheran just down the street, and he and my brother they played golf, and hung out and did things. But so the first few games I went were because I had Coach Moe's complimentary tickets, and they were not on the baseline. They were like they were mid-court, but they were about 12, 13 rows up. Back then, no one watched NBA. Very few. I mean, the Spurs were good. They had George Gervin and Dave Corzine, those guys, but they never sold out. You had a lot of empty spots in the arena. So it's kind of good watching that early 1980s basketball. And as you know, I believe that was the same year that Bird and Magic were rookies, and so after that, things really took off for the NBA. I mean,
for sure.
You know, a few years later, that
not as many empty seats. I tell you that.
Not yeah, and no one's giving away like 8 comp tickets. You know, they're so rest in peace, Chris Gilbert and Doug Moe.
Peace.
All right, Reg.
Well, I don't have anything nearly as substantive as what Don just went with. I was just going to wish Mike Tomlin a great offseason. And hoping that he was already kind of having one. And also going to bring up, James, that I have not received my T-shirt for our fantasy winning contest. We'll talk about that offline, though. But I have not yet to receive my winning T-shirt, which I do want to wear, especially when a person like Mr. Scott is here, so that he can see that I won that. You know, it just makes me feel a little bit better. So we'll talk about it later. I haven't received it, but hope Mike Tomlin's having a great offseason.
Fast count. It was a fast count. You won fast count. You know.
By the way, Dave, while you're giving your final thoughts, who was the final winner? You, Reg?
In the playoffs, it was me. It came down to the tiebreaker on the number of passing yards of the winning quarterback, which was 202. And I was at 220, and Reggie was at 247.
Okay.
A number I just pulled out of my behind, by the way, with no analytics.
Yeah. But you were right there.
Congratulations there.
Yeah, well, see, that your behind cost you a double win.
A double. Right. I could have just really been bragging on here with Mr. Scott here. That would have been my final thought for the next year. But you've been saved, though, Mr. Scott, from that.
But with Mike Tomlin, he's been going to a bunch of HBCUs, visiting a bunch of HBCUs, going to basketball games and stuff like that. So he just seems like he's just enjoying himself, decompressing.
Okay, well, hopefully down here in Atlanta or something, I could just bump into him down here, hopefully.
And he had apparently a Zoom call with some 70 former players that were all calling in to thank him and all that kind of stuff. So it's like he's getting a lot of. There's not not much publicity about it, but I think a lot of the players are, reaching out to him.
Did anybody grill him about why he quit? Did anybody grill him?
No, I think it was more like an appreciation.
Anybody say we want an answer? Did anybody say we would really like to know why are you walking away at this time?
They probably did say that part.
Can I ask Mr. Scott, why are you worried about why he quit, but you never ask about how, why did Bill Belichick quit? Why did some of the other coaches quit? I think you just have a thing for Mr. Tomlin.
Yeah, it seemed like there's some Mike Tomlin hate here. I felt a little bit. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but since you opened the door here, I mean, we could just go for another hour here. Like, we should just start this whole show over again. Just go again.
Marquise Pouncey will have a chat with you there, Anthony.
I couldn't stomach it. I mean, that's enough. I mean,
Dave,
gone.
Dave,
so there's some mystery about the departure, and that's my last word on it.
Well, what's your final thoughts there, Dave?
Well, I'm shifting sports. First of all, I mentioned Mike
Wagner.
Mike Wagner at the top of the show. That's a tremendous loss. But I wanted to talk about Cale Sanderson. And Penn State, under Cale Sanderson, they have 12 national championships. They got 4 in a row. They're going for their 5th in a row this year. And Cale himself was a 4-time undefeated national champion, 159-0 record, which was better than Dan Gable's record. Dan Gable ended up with 1 loss. And Cale was an Olympic gold winner. And the reason I'm using this as an example is because, all the time when we listen to sports, we always listen to the will to win. This guy wanted it more, and all this kind of stuff. And what I realize is whenever I listen to Cale Sanderson or any of the Penn State wrestlers, and they got 6 guys that are ranked number 1 out of 10 weight classes. They got 6 guys that are number 1. You never hear them talking about winning. They never talk about, hey, I wanted it more, or I had more will to win. And Cale Sanderson never talks in terms of winning and losing. So I thought what I would share is his philosophy, because this guy is, I mean, this is the most dominant college sports dynasty since maybe John Wooden with UCLA back in the day. And I think that it's worth listening to. So Cale Sanderson, his approach: 1, focus on effort, not outcome. Winning and losing doesn't define you. How you compete does. Effort builds character, and results will follow. Cale Sanderson. Number 2, compete without inhaling. And then again, this is Cale continuing explaining that. Filter out the junk. Bad food, toxic news, toxic noise, even fan praise. Protect what you feed your body and mind. Point 3, pressure is a privilege. He doesn't hide his guys from it. He prepares them. If there wasn't a lot at stake, why would we even do this? Point 4, lead without ego. Calm, humble, faith-driven. Humility isn't optional, it's essential. And I'll add an aside to this. Cale Sanderson will pick up the broom and clean out the locker room himself. And what that reminds me of is the New Zealand All Blacks. They do the same thing. They're like the best rugby program ever, and their players, they have clean up their locker rooms after themselves for the custodial staff. And that's where the humility comes in, because they're all part of the same team. Wrestle with purpose. And he's talking about having discipline, selflessness, consistency on the mat, make you better off of it. And then he says, no shortcuts. You can be good with shortcuts, but greatness demands every inch. And then finally, keep perspective. Win or lose, life moves on. And this is Cale talking. Sometimes not winning is the greatest blessing. You just don't see it yet. So when his guys lose a match, like if they're upset in a big match, you won't see him yelling and screaming at all. He never does. And this kind of reminds me of Mike Tomlin, to Anthony's bringing up Mike Tomlin. But Cale Sanderson, his success is he's using this is the way you live your life, the way you approach your sport. And he's created these multiple national champions, team championships, and they don't talk in terms of winning or losing or what the outcome is. You know, we need to have this. It doesn't talk that way. And it's all about the effort that you put in. So I just, for me, I just found it very inspiring. You know, it's because it's more than just sports. It's the way you live your life. And for Anthony, that's why all these players, you know, where the Mike Tomlin may have lost a lot of the Steelers fans that were booing him, but he never lost the locker room. And that's why you got like 70 players reaching out to him for a Zoom call to thank that man, because Mike Tomlin meant more to those guys than just winning, trying to win or not or losing a game. He meant something to them in their lives. And that's what Cale Sanderson has done. And I think that his philosophy is, to me, is very powerful. So those are my last words for tonight.
Mr. Scott, take us home here.
Well, I just don't really have, I guess I'll have to be very careful, making statements about Tomlin. There could be someone outside, masked man or something, break my legs or something.
Man.
Yeah,
you never know.
So, but I've made my thoughts. I've made my thoughts known. But no, I'm just thinking it's Black History Month. I happened to watch something on both Joe Louis and Jackie Robinson. And it just was like how important that they were to, just everybody, really breaking down barriers. And, I didn't even realize Jackie Robinson had been traded to the Giants at the end of his career, and rather than report, he just retired.
Yikes!
rather than report, he just went ahead and retired. But he had other things to do. And I mean, he really made a lot of difference in a lot of ways in this country. So that's, I don't know, that's just what I was thinking of, watching that movie on the both of them and what they went through, and also all the ball players. Because I know the Twins came here in 1961, and we went to that first Yankee game. My dad took me and my brother. You know, they had Elston Howard, Hector Lopez, and I never really thought about, but this documentary was talking about all in the minors and all that, how they had to ride different buses, stay in different rooms, couldn't stay with the. I mean, and all that stuff was like going on. It's really in my lifetime. It's not like this is really history. It's like it's really real. So, but yeah, that was just my final thought in watching that. And I wanted to ask Don though, did you get snow in San Antonio?
We got, I guess last month we had like 3 flakes hit my car.
That counts.
Yeah, it was
count, man. You got it. Technically,
29, 28 degrees. We had a lot of sleet, a lot of freezing rain, but as far as snow, we had a little dusting. That's about it.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Scott, I wanted to ask you. We got a little NBA talk from some of our guys. What's going on with your Timberwolves?
Well, they made a trade to get a guy. What was it, Damaso? Can't remember where he came from, but Timberwolves look to be fine. Anthony Edwards, wasn't he MVP of the All-Star game that I didn't watch? I don't know.
The All-Star game wasn't terrible. I mean, it could have been worse. I thought it was going to be terrible.
But I think Edwards was the MVP. So we have one of the stars of the league. We have Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year.
Who you hated on for years, by the way. Like I was on this show those years, those Rudy Gobert hate years that you had. That when you guys got him. I mean, you seem to love him now. I mean, I don't know what happened, but now you love the guy.
Well, it's
he grew up.
This is the thing. See, the man from Atlanta, he's trying to strike back. He's doing the best
I'm just saying, like I can remember 2 years ago. You know, you hating the guy.
Well, he did Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, so that's a true statement. I made that.
So you come around now. I get it.
Timberwolves are looking good. They got rid of Mike Conley, but they just brought him back.
Yeah.
Somehow this NBA stuff, how it works, you get traded.
Mike Conley's like 40. Like, what is he going to do there?
They trade you.
They get him back in 2 days.
Trade you to somebody else, and they pay you off. But when you get traded to somebody else, you can go back to where you came from.
They never leave sometimes. Like sometimes they never move or go anywhere, really.
Yeah, right. They never put on a uniform or go to a practice. It's just all on paper. So, but yeah, he's a good mentor to, Anthony Edwards was was very wanting him to come back because it was the locker room. He's very important. Okay. And I think the Timberwolves are going to make some noise this time. They've been to the finals the last 2 years. So I think this is time to get over the hump. And I think these last 20 games, you'll see the Timberwolves. I'm not going to predict NBA title now, but I'm going to predict it's quite possible NBA title for the Timberwolves. I think Anthony Edwards is a transformational player. He's Jordan-like, and
from Atlanta, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, I know. My cousin keeps saying, yeah, he's going to come back.
I have to mention that.
Well, why would he want to go to a losing team? That's the thing. Why would he want to go to Atlanta? Yeah, you're from there. It doesn't matter.
I mean, we got rid of Trey now, man. We cleared it up. Trey's not around stinking the place up anymore. He can come down here.
Yeah, that's another one. He loved him when he was there. Then Trey was all world. Was there, but now he's gone. So.
You want to mention your Twins real quick before we leave?
Oh,
nobody wants to hear that, man.
Nobody
wants to hear
Twins. Yeah, the Twins are just, and they lost Pablo Lopez, Paul Larson, I call him. He's got a Tommy John thing. He had one like 10 years ago, and he warmed up like an inning in spring training, I think yesterday. And now he's out for the year.
Oh, yikes.
He's out for the year.
That's terrible.
Yeah, out for the year already. And so it's just they got rid of a lot of the management people. Attendance has just gone to the tank, so they're just not a real on our real radar here in the Twin Cities. You know, there'll be empty seats.
All right, guys. Well, hey, good chopping up with everybody. See everybody next week.
See you guys. See you next time. Good night,
Yeah,
guys.
no more load management.
All right. Well, hope we can get you here before 9 o'clock, man. That'd be amazing. See you later, guys.
All right, there we go.
Were you off now?
That's still on.